I'm going to quickly break down some aspects and 6 aspects of the Ugly Duckling story, and I'll go through it fast and tell you how I think it applies to modern women. Okay. So we know the basic story because there's been several variations. A mother duck has hatched babies, and of all of the babies, one is seen as ugly and is subjected to relentless abuse and mistreatment. And so the ugly duckling runs away and goes to live with number 2 with some wild ducks and geese. But of course, they're all slaughtered instead of by hunters instead of the little duckling. And so the little duckling runs away again and finds shelter with a kind old woman. But the old woman's cat and hen also make the ugly duckling uncomfortable, and so the ugly duckling runs away again. In the 4th, we see that the ugly duckling saw some swans, but felt so ugly and was too young to learn to fly that it fled in the woods and survived the winter alone. Number 5, we find the duckling was taken in by a kind farmer, but then the farmer's animals' noise caused the duckling distress, and the duckling ran again. And in the final installment of that, the duckling was older but was tired of living in solitude, tired of its ugliness, tired of feeling like it was an outcast, and so wandering finds some swans who actually welcome the duckling. And then, upon looking at its reflection down in the water, actually saw that it was a swan the whole time, and flies away with the rest of the swans. When I go back and reread this story reminds me of beauty standards. And the reason I equate that to beauty standards is all these people getting lip fillers and all these people getting BBLs and all these people getting plastic surgery, and even you selfish ones taking Ozempic, because if you're taking Ozempic, and whether you can pay for it or not, if you're taking it from a diabetic person who genuinely needs that, you are a selfish person. But I don't think altering your body is so much a selfish act most of the time as this quick fix as it is to numb the pain of some type of rejection. And that type of rejection for a woman can be very deafening. And I think The Ugly Duckling is a story that is a reminder of that type of societal rejection. Your boobs are not big enough. Your butt is too big. Your butt's too small. Your legs are too thick. Your hair is too nappy. Your hair is too long and stringy. Your stomach's not flat enough. And don't get me wrong, I don't knock anyone for wanting what they want. But in order to give people what they want, if you go through the extreme, you're going to miss out on the person who likes all of those flaws. Because I see an increase in men saying they don't want fillers. They don't want extensions. They don't want weaves. They don't want makeup. Your concept of fake and false beauty can only stave you along for a short period of time. I would argue that some man always wanted the natural woman and she doesn't put herself out there, because there's no way that you can say you are who you are and not have a self-esteem issue at the bottom of it. Because this Ozempic thing, I link it to this ugly duckling, is because for you to be taking that, you don't want to lose weight the responsible way, or you haven't found a way to. You would much rather get this magic medicine that, by the way, is starting to make some people sick and show side effects. Look here, I'm not here to tell you not to have surgery, to not take care of your body in the way in which you want. What I'm telling you is this thing that you're seeing as a reward is actually a consequence. It's going to have consequences to it. I mean, that's what I meant to say. And that is what the ugly duckling is. That was a story that tells you that what you see as ugly, someone else may see as beautiful. And don't get me wrong, there's a tad difference between being full-figured and being obese, just like there's a tad difference between being thin and being anorexic. Some things will just never be attractive. This is not a video to upset anyone. But most of the time when you look at your reflection in the mirror, naturally, because it's human nature, you see what you see. And you perceive that as this is what everyone else sees as well, and that's not entirely true. Looks will fade with time anyway. So step out of this fairy tale that a magic pill and a magic shot is going to solve all of your mental problems, because it is not. Because a lot of these things are mental. I say this as a person overweight, still struggling to lose, but busting my butt to lose it. And I'm not saying to not take a pill or to not take those shots, but you got to tell yourself when you're doing that. I'm not saying not to get a rhinoplasty. I'm not saying not to get any kind of surgery, any kind of enhancements. Y'all might be taking it a little too far with that vaginal rejuvenation, but I'm not going to go too much into that. Time is going to do what it's going to do to you. And even with all those fillers, it will catch up. Do whatever you please, but your pleasure will come back to get you. Because you'll look at your reflection later on, just as this duckling who was ugly as a baby grew up and found out, perhaps I wasn't this thing that I thought I was. Projection is a weird thing. Study it, know you, and be better. All right, thanks.